What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Football Corner Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremiah Queen. And before we get started with today's episode, I want all my viewers out there on YouTube to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to me on a podcast app, please subscribe to the podcast. Let's cue it up. Week 7 provided us with a lot of great matchups, including Chiefs versus 49ers, Colts versus Titans, even Browns versus Ravens. And with that, let's go to Sunday recap. And the first team we want to talk about is the team I did not give any credit to or thought they would do anything going into the 2022 NFL season, and that will be the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks came into the season starting with Geno Smith, and Geno Smith is playing really good football. I mean, he's playing top 5 QB in the NFC football. If I had to put in a vote for the Pro Bowl, which has not started yet, voting hasn't started yet, but if I had to, I would give, one of my 3 QBs in the NFC would go to Geno Smith. Geno Smith is taking care of the football, doesn't have a lot of turnovers, and even in his matchup against the Chargers, he had 2 touchdowns, a little over 200 yards, over 100 passer rating, 65% plus completion percentage, and they won the game in blowout fashion, so to speak. They put up 30-plus points, only holding the Chargers to 23 points. They had huge help from their rookie running back from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker, who had 168 yards on the ground with a couple touchdowns to tag along with that. Even though the Seahawks lost their number 1 receiver in DK Metcalf during the game, their third-string guy, Marquise Goodwin, provided a little spark with catching 2 touchdown passes. This team is arguably the most exciting team to watch in the NFC, right? They don't have the biggest name at QB, or they don't have the biggest acquisitions, but they play defense, and their defense has been a little spotty, but they have a really good DBs, and their 2 rookies that stand out will be Kobe Bryant and Tariq Woolen. They're 2 cornerbacks, and they've been playing lights out football, and they rattled Justin Herbert, made it hard for him to get the ball down the field. They also was getting pressure. Their defensive line were getting pressure after Justin Herbert ended up sacking him roughly 3 times. The Seattle Seahawks are not taking this season. They feel they are a playoff team, and they're playing like so. The next team I want to go to will be the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have fallen to 3-4 after losing to the Washington Commanders and their backup quarterback, Taylor Heinicke. Now, Aaron Rodgers and this team, I said this going into this week, was they have to win. You can't lose against the Washington Commanders and expect to be a playoff team, especially when you get the Vikings, who are 5-1 and are on a bye. And supposedly they're going to be winning the division in easy fashion because the Packers aren't showing me what they are. I thought this team would be defensive, and I can't even blame the defense. This defense actually only held the Commanders to 23 points. But when you have a 4-time MVP at quarterback, you expect him to be able to give you more than 23 points on offense. He gave you only 21 points, had a couple of touchdowns late, but the game really wasn't even that close, even though the scoreboard was 23-21. I thought the Commanders took control of this game very early. Taylor Heinicke throwing a crucial passes to Terry McLaurin, who was, by the way, being guarded by arguably the best corner in football, which is Jair Alexander, number 23 for the Green Bay Packers, especially for a guy who complained in previous games when they played the Vikings about not checking Justin Jefferson one-on-one. You had your opportunity to check Terry McLaurin one-on-one, and he caught a touchdown on you, and he caught the first down pass that ultimately ended the game for the Green Bay Packers. That was on you, Jair Alexander. So and this is one thing you can't talk about when you're going into post-game press conferences. Your team was very cocky, and they thought that they could roll over a lot of teams that were beneath them. But now you have lost in the past 3 weeks. You have lost against the Jets. You have lost against the Giants. And this past Sunday, you have lost against the Commanders. So the Packers, y'all don't look good. This is not a good look for y'all. It don't seem like y'all are a good team. Matt LaFleur, I'm wondering if your coaching style is actually working for this team. For a coach who has won the most games to his first 3 seasons, you are not showing us that you can overcome adversity. I would like to see this going into week 8, but the Packers, you have to show some guts, some grits. You have to get this thing turned around real fast, or before you know it, you won't even be a wildcard team. It's time for my favorite segment of this episode, which is called Best and Worst Performances. After starting the season off to a rough start, the best performance will have to go to Joe Burrow, quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. They started the season off 0-2, and for the past 5 weeks, they have a record of 4-1, only losing to their division rival, the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow in Week 7 against the Falcons threw for 481 yards, completing 81% of his passes, had 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. This game wasn't even close. They got off to a 14-0 start, and then capitalized off of that throughout the game. I thought Joe Burrow was efficient. I thought he was hitting his receivers in stride. It didn't look like he was missing many passes. As I said, he completed 81% of his passes. So, and this was a game you wanted to win since the Baltimore Ravens won 2, and you're trying to keep up with the division race, with the Baltimore having an edge over you because they beat you head-to-head already this season. Especially, and also the Baltimore Ravens have won 2 division games, with y'all losing against the Steelers, and that only being the division game you played this season so far. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals have to win and match the Baltimore Ravens game for game if they expect to have a chance at winning this division. Now, the worst performance goes to Matt Ryan, the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan had a horrible day, and it's even worse when your defense doesn't give up an offensive touchdown. The score was 19-10, and the Tennessee Titans only kicked field goals. They had 12 points off of field goals, and the only touchdown the game by the Titans came on defense. And that's because Matt Ryan decided to throw a interception, which ended up being returned for a touchdown. Matt Ryan threw 2 interceptions, had 1 passing touchdowns, over 200 passing yards, and you have to put this game on his shoulders. I understand the Indianapolis Colts are 3-3, and there's no time to panic because the Indianapolis Colts are at 500, but the Titans are 4-2, and the Titans have beat you twice this season. So the only way you'll be able to win the division in the AFC South is if you have 1 game over the Tennessee Titans. Means you have to stop dropping your games because the Titans own you. There's Matt Ryan in 2 games against the Titans has been awful. He definitely had the worst performance in terms of what this will mean coming down to the end of the season when the division games and conference games determine how you'll be seeded in your division and also the playoffs. The Carolina Panthers are getting my upset of the day with their victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this team I talked about in my last episode traded away a few players and in Christian McCaffrey and Robbie Anderson. I thought they were in tank mode. I thought they were trying to get a higher draft pick. But Steve Wilkes, the interim head coach of the Panthers, would have none of it. Now, this is a team who is down to their backup quarterback in P.J. Walker. And if I would have told you that P.J. Walker will outduel Tom Brady, most people would think I was crazy. But it happened. P.J. Walker was efficient. He had 2 passing touchdowns, over 100 passer rating, and he beat Tom Brady and outscored him 21-3. I will give the Panthers the props they need, but I think this is a bigger issue on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I had a panic button, I'll press it right now. The Buccaneers have dropped a game against the Steelers and their rookie quarterback, who was decimated at defense. And they've dropped the ball to the Panthers with their backup quarterback, their backup head coach. And they've lost 2 talented offensive weapons due to them being traded. Tom Brady The stat line looks okay. He threw for 290 yards and didn't have any turnovers, but you only scored 3 points. And if you actually look at the play-by-play and the drives in that game, they weren't getting nothing done. I understand Mike Evans did drop a touchdown pass to start the game off. It was a broken coverage. Mike Evans was wide open, and Tom Brady hits him right in the hands. And that stopped the drive, so to speak. But it's the Panthers. The Panthers have shown no fight against any other team besides the Saints this season. And y'all dropped the ball. Y'all didn't win. Y'all are 3-4. And the only reason why y'all are in the division lead is because your division is not as strong as it has been in the past. Tom Brady is, like I said, I don't think it's all his fault, but you have to put a big portion of the blame because the quarterbacks get all the credit. So if the quarterback's going to get all the credit, I'm going to give a lot of blame to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was not efficient enough and was not sustaining drives. I understand you have a running game. Welcome to the NFL, Tom Brady. Everything's not going to be there handed to you. You have to get the job done. I understand Tom Brady got off the field issues going on, but the Buccaneers are in trouble. You're 3-4. You only lead the division because of having a weak division. The Falcons are right there tied with you at 3-4. This could get ugly really fast. If the Buccaneers don't turn this around, their defense is playing. They only give up 21 points. Tom Brady, you have to score more than 3. That Buccaneers offense have to score more than 3. I don't care if you throw 500 yards. If you only put up 3 points on the board, it means nothing. That's just empty calories. Tom Brady, you have to fix this. You're the GOAT. And in most people's eyes, if you can't get this turned around, you will end your career with a little sting, and it won't be pretty. Thanks for watching and listening to the Football Corner Podcast. Podcast episodes will be dropped on Mondays and Fridays, as well as YouTube videos on Mondays and Fridays. You could click the link in my description to follow the social media links to my podcast social media pages. And also, you will be able to stay up to date on new drops, new takes, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you next time.